What's going on, guys? Got a new fantasy draft challenge for you today, and this one we can only draft players from the four nations teams. That's only going to give us like 90 players to choose from. If we run out of guys, we just have to take like the worst player available. This should be a tough challenge. Hopefully we can still build a decent roster for the fantasy draft, guys. I'm going to use the Montreal Canadiens, obviously one of the two host cities with the Boston Bruins, but I'm Canadian, so going to be rocking the Bleu Blanc et Rouge. I'm not sure if this is going to matter, guys, but I have the salary cap turned off just to see if teams are more willing to take like those high rated guys on bad contracts, which usually are kind of easier to get later in the draft. Are you kidding me, guys? I just loaded into the franchise and it gave us the first pick. Normally I mix it up, but I don't know. I think it was meant to be. We loaded in, we get pick 1. Let's load in here. We're starting the draft at pick 1. Obviously, we could take McDavid, McKinnon. Could also take Sidney Crosby. I don't know if he'll be available to us still. You know, last pick in the second round. Maybe he will be. I feel with pick 1, though, we got to take Connor McDavid, right? Like, there's obviously, you know, a bunch of other guys we could take here. Defensively, I mean, I'm thinking with our later picks, we'll probably get some of those finished defensemen that should still be available. Also, too, goaltending, maybe, you know, Samuel Montembeault, Kevin Lankinen, some guys we can get with the later picks. But I think we got to go McDavid here, number 1, to Montreal. It's just, you know, too perfect. And hopefully, can still land Crosby here with the last pick. I'm curious, after McDavid, you have McCarr going 2, Matthews 3, Hughes there. I should mention too, if they were like on the team but then couldn't play due to injury, they're still available to us. Same of course with like the substitution. So we could take Hughes, could also take Jake Sanderson. Still, it's gonna be like less than 100 guys. McKinnon at 6 as a 96, just because he's like a couple years older and done growing, is honestly a steal there for the LA Kings. I'm just looking through here quickly, guys, to see. So Sidney Crosby did not go in the first round. He probably went in the second, though. Forsberg, pick 1, round 2 is honestly very good value. Yeah, there goes Sid, right behind Lucas Raymond. Okay, so I was thinking about going Sid, you know, 1-1, just because he had that huge first game, but had to go McDavid. Tays here, of course, on Canada as well. Scheifele was not huge, honestly, snub, I think. Victor Hedman's there. 33 might be there for a bit. I'm good with Devin Tays, highest rated guy still available, our number 1 defenseman. You know, not McCarr, but don't mind that at all. And of course, we actually have back-to-back picks. Could go Victor Hedman here, a super solid top D pair. And then, of course, with McDavid, can probably get a ton of guys to fill out the rest of the team. You got Larkin there coming, somehow playing 4th line for the Americans. Konechny there. Mackenzie Weegar, guy I thought, you know, might make the team. I'm not going to overthink it. Let's go Victor Hedman. I think him, Devin Tays on, you know, top pair, plus, you know, have them 2 on the power play, the PK, will be really solid. We could get Brad Marchand here. Actually looked really good, I thought, for Canada in game 1. You also get Mattias Ekholm there with the Swedes. And I mean, a lot of these guys, Drew Doughty, we could get there, Carlson. Because they're both 34, I think they'll be available for a while. I mean, already we're like kind of going, you know, into the depths. Chris Kreider, of course, is like 13th forward there for the Americans. Wow, we could get Patty Laine. So you know what, guys? I'm honestly going to go Patrick Laine here. 26 years old, he's still growing. He has a big contract, so I don't know when he's going to go. He's a really good sniper, playing on McDavid's wing. I think that could be a great duo. So, you know, we might have went early there. I'm not too sure. And of course, we have back-to-back picks, so honestly, this is probably too early for Marchand, but Marchand, McDavid, Laine as your first line, and of course, we got Hedman, Tays as our top D pair. Like, that's going to be absolutely nasty. Just, you know, run those guys as much as we can. Chris Kreider's still here. That's not bad at all. Taking a look here, Mikael Granlund, of course, is with the Finns. Lehkonen there, too. Lehkonen's a bit younger and honestly super good defensively. Could definitely have him on the top PK. And like I said, I think defensively, could probably get some of those Finnish guys a bit later. Goalies, Jordan Binnington still there. Same with Philip Gustafsson. Probably go goalie with our next pick, but honestly, right here, I'm going to take Lehkonen just to have, you know, that top PK guy. And we actually have back-to-back picks, so let's make sure we have a good goalie. Gustafsson has high star potential, so we'll go with him, and then hopefully we can get, you know, Lankinen, Montembeault, somebody to be the backup. And now next here, guys, let's see. The next player we could take, Teravainen, honestly isn't bad for that second forward line. I definitely want a solid top 6, so we'll take him and then try and get a centerman here. And now I'm looking through all the players, guys. There is not much available. Hopefully somebody, though, will appear that we could use. Rickard Rakell has played center in the past. They have him as a winger, though. I think I gotta take Rakell here, guys. And then, like I said, either him or maybe even Lehkonen will play, you know, 2C. At this point, maybe we try and get some defensemen there. Obviously now, like, you know, don't have too many guys to pick from. Gus Nyquist, though, is on the Swedish team, so we could still take him. And actually, Erik Haula here is on Team Finland, so maybe it would make sense for him to be our 2C, just to make sure we have that centerman. I'm going to take Nyquist, though, just because he's, like, higher rated, 1 year left. Actually, we have back-to-back picks, so might not matter. We'll go Haula here with our next pick. And we definitely got to start taking some defensemen now. Definitely going to be rallying, you know, very heavily on that top D pair. And actually, guys, right here is Victor Arvidsson. So we could take him. And all of a sudden, we have a really good top 9. Defensively, though, it's going to be weak, so kind of like, Team Finland. Gustafsson, pretty decent goalie. He's actually starting over Markstrom at the tournament. So we're going to take a look here for defensemen, see if there's anybody we can actually take. And right here, Nico Mikkola is actually on Finland's top D pair, playing with Esa Lindell, so we'll take him. And now next year, guys, we're taking Joki Harju. Like I said, our defense is basically just going to be the Finnish defense there. Backup goalie will definitely be our last pick. Even if we have to take, like, the worst possible backup goalie, like, we can't, take someone that's in the tournament. Starting goaltender is going to play the majority of the games anyway, so I'm fine with that. Same with fourth line. We can just make it so, like, hopefully we roll 3 lines. Ristolainen's still there. And then Välimäki's also there. So he's 4 years younger than Ristolainen. We'll take him first. We'll take Ristolainen with our last pick. No offense to the Finns, but luckily, because their defense is weaker, it's actually giving us a shot to draft this team. I honestly wasn't even sure if it's going to be possible. And we still do need a fourth line and a backup goalie. So we'll see whether or not we can get this done. But so far, we are in decent shape. And now looking at the goaltenders here, guys, Lankinen, I think, would have been our guy to pick last. He's gone. I'm pretty sure he was an 83. And yeah, I want to say him and Montembeault, he might have been like 83, 83, is also gone. So we're going to have to take worst goalie available with our last pick. Hopefully here, though, we can find some forwards to fill out that fourth line. And here we go, guys. I found Joel Armia here. Honestly, he might be the last guy that's actually available to take. And so I just looked through all the forwards, guys. I couldn't find a single one left in the tournament, but only Mata is still here. Of course, a Finnish defenseman. So we're going to have some defensemen playing fourth line forward. Honestly, if they're 80 overall, that's probably better than, like, a 36 overall forward. And now check this out, guys. Vakanainen's also still available. Luckily, don't have to take him. He's 78 overall. There's another Finnish defenseman we can still take. The only one that got taken by a team other than us was Heiskanen, and I guess Vakanainen if he does get taken, but Hakanpää's still here too. He'll actually play defense. He's very good defensively, so like the 2 most offensive defensemen that aren't, Hedman and Tace, who are on the top pair, they'll be on our fourth line, playing with Joel Armia, just kind of hoping for the best. And then, like I said, goaltending-wise, this is the one position. All the goalies are gone. I was hoping, Lankinen and Montembeault, but they're not there, so we'll have to take the worst one, and that's David Ayers. Okay, that's actually kind of funny. I think Canadians fans would love him as our backup. So Ayers there behind Gustafsson. This should be a fun team. And now I just set the lines for our season, guys, and we're having a conversation here with Martin St. Louis. So curious to see what he thinks about this team. He thinks we'll be competing for a playoff spot. Okay, I think, we'll take that. Once we, get in, obviously, anything can happen. And now with the preseason focus here, guys, I'm going to try 5v5, give our team a little bit of a boost there. Offensive defensive awareness as well as puck control, try and get, some of these ratings a bit higher. So first line here, guys, you got Marchand, McDavid, and Laine, like I mentioned. And they're getting a +5 chem boost, so that's huge. McDavid's playing like 102 overall. And I mean, you look at the chemistry here, 2-way forward, playmaker, sniper. They should be a great first line. Second line here, I decided to actually keep the countrymen together. So it's a Finnish line. You got Tervainen playing with Halla and Lekkinen. And then third there's the all Swede line. Arvidsson, and Nyqvist, and Raquel. The fourth line's also all finished. We got a couple D-men there. Ristolainen playing right wing. Armia in the middle. And then Välimäki on the left wing. So, like I said, I'll have a talk to the coach. Try and, make it roll 3 lines. So the fourth line doesn't see the ice too much. Now, defensively here, top D pairs unreal. Victor Hedman, Devin Tays. Not quite as good as Makar and Tays, but still, it's up there. After that, Joki Harju, Mikkola. Definitely would like a better second pairing, but then honestly, Mata and Hakanpää as a third D pair is not that bad. I'll have to also have a conversation with the coach about trying to fix some of the scheme fits there. The chemistry isn't looking the best. Gustafsson there's our starting goaltender. Hare's backing him up. I should mention, I didn't even realize during the draft, I didn't draft a single American player. We got a couple Canadians on this team, bunch of Swedes, bunch of Finns. Somehow did not land an American, so I apologize. I honestly didn't even realize as I was doing it. The top power play unit there honestly looks unreal. Nowhere near as good as Canada's top power play. Luckily, we're not playing them in this. We're facing off against regular NHL teams. In terms of the PK, I mean, you got Marchand out there. It's basically our first line. Lekkinen definitely helps the second one there. The second PK is actually all finished. So I'm really excited to see, how this team does. In terms of the captaincy here, guys, of course, McDavid's wearing the C. Then I gave an A there to Laine as well as Hedman. So we got each of the 3 nations there representing with the letters. Again, I don't know how I wasn't able to, draft a single American player. Now, in terms of our ratings here, guys, we've got 89 offense, 88 defense, 66 goaltending. It definitely looks a lot worse than it is because, of course, we know we have a legit starter in Gustafsson. So we'll get started here and see how we do. And now after talking to the coach, guys, you can see ice time allocation there's roll 3 lines. I think as well we got a +1 in the second. Fourth line, there's no fixing that. And then defensively, Hedman and Tays did not want to talk to me, but luckily the second and third D pair went from negatives to pretty good positives. So hopefully those changes can, help our chance of actually making the playoffs. All right, guys, we got a few games left in the regular season now. As you can see here, we're matched up with the Maple Leafs. We've got a really good record, 45, 28, and 6. The Leafs also have a really good record. You're probably thinking 2 playoff teams. And you'd be half right, Only one of us is probably going to make the playoffs. The Maple Leafs, they have 92 points, and they're outside of a wild card. We've got 96. They're the last wild card in the East. Even in a fantasy draft, we somehow ended up in the most stacked division. It always happens. Like, over in the Metro, we'd literally be tied with the Hurricanes and the Devils for first place in the division. In the Central, it'd be second. In the Pacific, it'd be, a better wild card. Could be a divisional spot there to take the Kraken spot. So, I'm not sure how this always happens, but this is going to be a big game against the Leafs. Must win, obviously. If we win, I think we're in. And let's see what happens here. It's taking it a lot. 5-3 loss. Are you kidding me? The Maple Leafs jump us, but we're tied. We each have 96 points. Blackhawks, and we have to win these next 2 games. Hopefully, there's a win. Maple Leafs also won. It comes down to the Hurricanes game. I'm not sure the Maple Leafs are playing. I'm not sure as a tiebreaker. If the Maple Leafs lose and we get a point, we won and we get in. Or actually, it's a star. So the Maple Leafs, if they win, we might not get in. I might have celebrated early. Conversation with St. Louis. We start to make playoffs this season. We've officially clinched. That was way too close. I was going to say, I don't think I've ever had a coach talk to us about not making it. So, wow. The Maple Leafs got in with 100. The Lightning were the one who lost out in the wildcard spot. They had 100 points. So, never mind. Maple Leafs and Canadiens are both wildcard teams. The Lightning, they're absolutely screwed. 100 points and not making the playoffs. That is wild. I would be so livid. Oh my goodness. And like, no one that got in was even that terrible. Like, the worst team in the entire playoff is the Wild with 89 points, which really isn't that bad. I don't think I've ever seen that. 100-point Lightning team missing the playoffs, and like us barely squeaking in with 100. Only 3 points back, I should mention, of like, the Bruins, who I think won the league. So that is pretty crazy. We'll take a look here and see, guys, just how everyone did on this team. McDavid, 85 points, over a point per game. Is solid. Obviously, I'd like to see him simulating with like 130 points, more realistic, but I can't really do much else. He's 97 overall. Simmons scoring at medium. Sharp, you can see at high. Marchand did well. Line A there too. 33 goals. I'm surprised he didn't honestly score more. Lehkonen, Taves, both close to 50 points. A couple abs there. Arvidsson, 45. Same with Teravainen and Hedman. Eric Haula there. It's a -2. We had 36 points. Raquel only 30, even though he's actually on the top power play in it, so that's kind of crazy. Just not scoring much at all. 5v5. Goaltending here, Gustin at 9-2-3, 2-4-5 goals against. I mean, obviously, like, the team played well. I know we were the last wildcard spot in the East, but we still had a 100-point season. Like, it's weird. It's, like, making it kind of all messed up. Accidentally checking the goalies first here, but Gustin had the most wins. Because his backup's so bad in Ayers, he just played a ton, 75 games played. I forgot to mention it, but the computer coach actually wanted to have Ayers starting against the Leafs. I had to make that switch. Ended up not mattering. We still lost, but I thought that was funny. Langton there, of course, I thought maybe we could have had as our backup. He actually stays with the Canucks, which is kind of funny. And Gustin there was pretty good, but the best save percentage for a starting goalie was Shesterkin there with the Flyers. But then the best goals against was Allmark with the Seattle Kraken, 227. Now looking at all the players here, Pastrnak popped off with the Panthers, 114. Matthews right behind him. They both had 60-plus goals. You got McKinnon there with the Kings. Should mention Matthews there was with the Penguins. Kucherov, Tage Thompson had a big year. He's on the Predators as well with Kucherov. Wow, what a duo. Larkin there is on the Panthers with Pastrnak. Okay. Cale Makar still put up 100 points, even though he's on the Minnesota Wild. Kadri had 95 with the Penguins, so I think he's just playing with Austin Matthews there. And now defensive scoring guys, of course, yeah, Makar number 1, Hughes 2, Fox 3. Even on new teams, they're still producing the same. So I always thought Makar sims so well because he's really high rated, plus playing with the app. And they obviously have McKinnon, used to have Rantanen, but even on a new team, he's still popping off. Rookie skater Celebrini leads the way. And yeah, guys, I'm really curious to see these standings. So it was actually Nashville there winning the Presidents, my bad, 106. The Canucks, Ducks, Boston actually got 4th. Okay, so like the West had the best teams, but East, of course, way more competitive. And like, let's see, Tampa Bay, yeah, there's what, 11 teams in the league, 100+ points. Tampa Bay, 11th in the league, I mean, tied for 8th, and they miss. That's crazy. Carolina also at 100, 12 teams with 100+ points. What? Over a third of the league had 100+ points? That's absolutely ridiculous. Penguins there miss as well. And then, yeah, like Minnesota was the worst team getting 89. It was just like the top teams all had, all the points. There was no teams really in the 80s. They were all in the 60s, 70s. Usually there's a lot more teams, yeah, kind of like in that low to mid 80 range. And now in the first round, guys, we got the Boston Bruins. Kind of sucks. If we would have had the tiebreaker the least, we would have got the first place winner in the Metro, which was honestly like a worse team than us, I would say. So we'll take a look here and see this Boston team. Chinikov top line, Stevenson, Bratt. It's not really that great. Like Stevenson's not having the greatest year at Seattle. Stankoven there, Carlson, Mangiapane. They got Colton Deneau, Tanev, Tatar, Nosen, Atkinson. Forward group's not great. They got M. Fox on D and Carlson, Provorov, Chernik, Suter, Brody. Defense is solid. And then they got Saros in net and Kemper backing him up. So This team's definitely a defense first. We'll see. I mean, I knew this team wasn't going to be the best, but I think, you know, having Connor McDavid, I think our top D pair is really solid. Maybe it'll be enough for us. So the first 2 games here, guys, are in Boston, which is actually kind of cool because, of course, one of the host cities here, 4 Nations, and we win both games there in OT. Love seeing that. Head home to Montreal now, game 3 and 4, and it didn't load. OT loss and a loss. Okay, so Boston here tying this thing up. Game 5 back in Boston. I mean, close games all around, all decided by 1. Another 1-goal game. Are you kidding me? Every single game so far. Can we force game 7? Please. Wow. We had the 2-0 lead, and then we lost 4 straight games. And again, every single game of this series was decided by 1. That's heartbreaking. And so I just into the playoffs, guys. As you can see there, the Maple Leafs won the Stanley Cup. So the team that almost didn't get in, if we would have beat them in that like third last game of the season, the Maple Leafs do not get in, and then they actually go on to win the Stanley Cup. So I was hoping that would have been us. What are you going to do? The Leafs there beat the Devils in 6. Again, they had an easier road, I think, going through the Metro. Canes in 5, Panthers in 7, and then the Canucks there in 6. I'll have to take a look at that Maple Leafs team, see who they drafted. I'm also curious to see our team here, how we do. Teravainen, McDavid both had 5 points. Halle actually stepped up with 4. Okay, I mean, Tays had 3. I don't see Victor Hedman. Only 1 point. Definitely needed more from him if we were actually going to, you know, move on in the playoffs. Augustin there, really solid numbers. 9-2-3, 2-3 against. Yeah, cannot put that on him at all. He played very well for us. So, awards here, guys. Again, we know all the team ones. Individually here, Pasternak, Art Ross. Also got the Hart, McCarr, James Norris, Pasternak, Lady Bing. He also got Maurice Richard, so he cleaned up. Celebrini, Calder. Forsberg, Conn Smythe with the Leafs. Allmark, Vezina, and William Jennings. Wow. Simishev, Bill Masterton. Bruce Cassidy there. Jack Adams. Barkov, Selke on Vegas. Pasternak, Ted Lindsay, and Maurice Richard. So, what a year for David Pasternak. But, of course, it's the Maple Leafs getting the Stanley Cup. And next year, guys, we'll take a look at that Leafs team. So, Forsberg's their best player. They got Quentin Byfield, Kent Johnson, Byram, Frederick, Holloway, Norris, Gregg. I mean, in terms of the depth, I feel like pretty similar to us, but our high-end player is a lot better in Connor McDavid. Like, they have a bunch of 70s on the team, which we did not have. And then goaltending, they got Sorokin, of course, an unreal goalie. But other than that, I think our team was better. So, yeah, just didn't get lucky like them in the playoffs. What are you going to do? Hopefully, you guys enjoyed that one. That was a lot of fun. I'm glad we were actually able to assemble a team. So, if you did enjoy it, leave that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a nice day. Goodbye.